professional golf tour, on the PGA Tour, using the long putter. He used this putter to ease his pain so he wouldn't have to bend over. This was a major adjustment, and it took great courage on his part because hardly anyone was doing this. But Rocco would soon be rewarded. He would win the prestigious Doral Golf Open, beating Curtis Strange, who at the time was the #1 golfer in the world and had just won 2 back-to-back United States Opens. Rocco would come back again with a victory in 1993, winning at Greensboro. But the injury jinx would hit him again as he ruptured a disc in his back and would be forced to sit out 3 years. It's a long time. But again, he would overcome this obstacle. And he came back playing well. But in 1999, he underwent major back surgery. But bouncing back again, he began to show signs of his great ability. When his career almost ended due to injury again in 2004. Throughout this time of the stop-and-go career being hurt, he was essentially a part-time player, but he was able to win 6 times and one of the top players in all of the world. But it would be at this year's U.S. Open that Rocco would give the golfing world a glimpse of what could have been, a glimpse of his great ability, as he battled the #1 golfer, the current #1 golfer, Tiger Woods. Not for 18 holes, not for 36 holes, not for 54 holes, not for 72 holes, but for 90 holes. It ended in a dead tie. And in sudden death, Rocco would finally succumb to Tiger Woods. It's the best I could do with that. I didn't know how to wrap that. I didn't know how to wrap that. I didn't know other way to wrap it. I mean, Frank told me, Frank asked me to mention his name 14 times. Frank. The two men, Woods and Rocco, certainly distinguished themselves with their outstanding play. But it would be Rocco who would emerge in defeat with the greatest admiration and great acclaim throughout the golfing world. But even with all of these accolades, Rocco would not be able to fully enjoy the fruits of his great performance without a little bit of controversy, as he would now have to deal with a little ignorance and stupidity. As NBC's Johnny Miller would say to his national audience that the name Rocco did not belong on the U.S. Open trophy.
He would say, settle down, settle down.
Miller was reprimanded by NBC and has since issued an apology. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very proud to include this name on the same award that has the names of DiMaggio, Sinatra, Piscopo, Pesci, Bennett, and so on and so on. I give you Rocco Mediate.
I like to walk around when I talk. Buddy, seriously, you gonna say that to me about stupidity and? John, are you talking about John? Anyway, I've gotten some interesting comments on that week, which was what's the date? 3 months ago? 4 months ago? Yeah. And as you're doing that whole situation, you don't know what's going on. You know, I've seen the video and stuff like that, but you don't really know what it's going. But the people that came to the game for that was cool. And it's because Tiger brought that to the game. And then all of a sudden some guy from wherever I came from, Greensburg, PA, made it a game. So it became interesting. But there's so many things that happen, and you know, Johnny, you know, the Johnny Miller thing, we just get rid of that. We get rid of that? You okay with that? He called me Tuesday morning and apologized. I did the same thing. I shoot from the hip and then apologize later. Well, I think we all do that, don't we? You do that? Yeah?
Once in a while.
Okay, good. Growing up in an Italian family, I don't have any papers and stuff because I kind of shoot from the hip like I do everything else. Frank, don't even say anything to me. Look over there. Over there. Thank you. Christmas was fun. All the relatives and everything were there. The fish, though. Pops, the fish. I hated the fish. Hated that stuff. But anyway, it was cool. All the people we got, you know, Louis and Joey's and all the E's all going around. It was great. It was so much fun. And, you know, that's kind of gone right now, to tell you the truth. In my world, I travel 32 or 3 weeks a year. So my kids only knew about growing up with their pops going 2 weeks a month. That's how they grew up. Because the tour travels, as you know, or most of you know, everywhere all over the world. So it was kind of difficult. But when the kids know that growing up, they can deal with it. So as a father, as a husband, it was okay. It was tough. It was tough at times, but you know, trying to do what we had to do, we tried to make it the best we could. So as I was a kid growing up, you know, sports, you know, back then we had neighborhood kids. We still have neighborhood kids here, like 10, 15 kids we grew up with. I did. There's not that many clowns. But back in those days, what am I? I'm 27 years old now. So back then, you know, 10 years ago, there was more kids around. I had, you know, 10 or 12 kids that I hung out with, and I still keep in contact with as much as I can. We played football, basketball, skateboarded. You remember what skateboarding was or no? No?
Yep.
We did all that stuff. You don't know what skateboarding is. Come on. I want you to do another record. You promised me one more. One more. So, but now it's different because, you know, as far as a professional athlete is concerned, I don't know if you want to call me an athlete at that point, but a guy who plays professional sports, we're traveling a lot. So it's hard to see that closeness of the Italian family. And if you think about the world today, and I thought about this on the airplane flight, I had 2 airplane flights yesterday. One, we took off and we decided to turn around in LA because the plane was going to explode. So we stayed, and I left last night and came this morning. It wasn't a lot of fun, but when you look at how it is now, it just doesn't seem as close-knit as it was before. And especially in my sport or in my job. And I really miss that. My kids are doing okay, but you know, we went, Dad, what do we do? Dad, stand up. My dad, Anthony Media, right there. Stand your ass up. Get down there. I don't want to talk, but it's a little bit of talk. I mean, we go Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, all the mediates, in my case, would be around the deal and hanging around. And, you know, as people got older, they went away, they died off, and it was kind of sad because I don't see that anymore. I really don't see that anymore. It makes me very sad. But as far as the U.S. Open and stuff, that was great. It was fun. But I always was taught by my mom and my dad to just deal with what you had in front of you. And no matter what they did, no matter who they were, hey, there's no coffee time right now. There's no coffee. Just kidding, I'm joking. It was just a matter of dealing with it. Now, what scares me most in the professional world of golf is what people thought was so important or so exciting or so different in that U.S. Open. Now, granted, it wasn't a very exciting thing, being that I was a part of it and not knowing what was going on at the time, and Tiger didn't know either. I talked to him about it. He had no idea what was going on. Obviously, he wanted to win. I wanted to win. Obviously, he got lucky very many times. But, so you look at it that way and say, why was it so special? And I don't see the specialness of it as far as the way people reacted to how I reacted. I'm playing a sport for my living in front of the world, in front of the best player in the world, why would I not be happy? Got an answer for that? You don't have an answer for that, do you? We talked about it earlier, so you're fine. So my point is, why is it so difficult to enjoy what you're doing against whoever, whatever it is in your business, job, whatever you do, on what you're up to? It doesn't make any sense to me. So that's what scares me in my world. Why is it so interesting to see somebody enjoying what they do? Do you do what you do?
Absolutely.
You really don't. You're always miserable to me. Right? You and your wife. Where is she? She's right over there. See, she's not happy. Not happy right now. He is. How did you do that, by the way?
Lucky.
You were lucky, very lucky.